Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, peeps? Welcome back to the Pseudo Fix podcast. Guys, we are here talking about I was gonna say diversive movie, but it's only diverse when like 1/3 of the entire fandom has said this one thing, but we'll get into that in a minute. But of course, guys, that is the first major release of 2022. That's Scream 5, Scream Cream, like whatever the fuck you guys want to. I was about to say cream again, but whatever you guys want to call it, Scream 5 has officially dropped today, and we are talking every in and out spoiler within that film because honestly, you could talk about a non-spoiler version, but it's very hard. So if you guys haven't seen the movie, hop on back after you've seen it. Let us know what you think. Leave a like and comment down below. And let's just get into it, guys. I want to start off and just acknowledge the good things because I know me and Deebs had a lot of problems with this movie, but I also know Loretta loves a lot of things in this movie, so I don't want to start on a bitter note. I want to start on a good note. And I think the one legacy character, I don't know how else to explain this, not the three, Dewey, Gale, and Sydney, but like the legacy blood characters. So like the Randy Meeks nephew and niece in this movie, I thought were probably the best out of the new cast and even some of the best in the new movie. And I think they really captured the spirit of the character of Randy, which I think is the best thing that they got right when it comes down to a lineage type of character, especially with twins too. You got two of them going off of each other. And at first I feel like you'd look at I think Chad was his name. You look at Chad and you're like, oh my God, he's kind of just that stereotypical hot looking jock dude. But I think the bond between him and his sister, who is more like the Randy character, really have a nice little chemistry in this movie. That's the only chemistry that works in this movie. I'm afraid to say, just to throw that little punch in there, but I think they got that super right. And I'm really glad they survived at the end of this movie because if they do make a sixth one, these characters need to return because I was saying the same thing about Kirby with Scream 4, but these motherfuckers did not want to bring it back. But let's just go down the list. What's going on, Deeps?
What's going on, man?
How you feeling?
I'm just happy to talk horror, man. It's been way too long, man. Horror is like literally my favorite genre of film, period. For me, the positives, I thought Jenna Ortega and that character of Tara really stole the show for me. Sydney and Gail looking at each other in that scene. I really like that scene where what's her name, Amber, comes out and you have Sydney and Gail look at it and go, you think she's faking it, and the girl runs out reports. That was a really cool because you love how like how many times have they seen exactly that? That was a really fun moment for me. I loved when Sydney was on the phone with Ghostface, and she's like in the middle of this like rapid fire questioning, and she's like, "Nah, I'm bored," and hangs up immediately. That was a fun touch for me. I like the opening scene. I like that when you look back at that opening scene, it was actually Amber on the phone. Like she never had her number like spoofed, so she probably sent like an old video to Tara, and that was a really cool thing that I thought of after I watched the film here. Seeing Skeet Ulrich back was really neat, although I kind of wish it was Matthew Lillard instead. I think David Arquette knocked it out of the park, man. I really liked his character. It sucks to see him die, but I kind of wish it was Dewey that took out Ghostface in the hospital. And that would have been a really kind of cool moment to like throw in like a third villain in the second or third acts and kind of throw this franchise upside down. So those are like my main positives. The positives goes with the negatives. I thought Sydney and Gail were great. However, when they came on and it was way too late, then the new people kind of took a step back, and it just did not flow well for me.
No, yeah, definitely agree with that with you, Deebs. We'll get on that in a little bit, but what's going on, Loretto? You're muted. Yeah.
Hey
okay,
guys, how you doing? Am I the only one hearing weird audio right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good too.
Okay, I don't know what just happened, but can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if it's okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So I don't know what's going on with my side, but hello, good evening. I am the lone member of the group that actually really, really, really enjoyed this film. I had a smile on my face the whole time. I kind of just had fun with what it was. Um, didn't try to look too far into I mean, I get it, right? I know some of it was a little bit predictable, especially the Jack
Nah,
Quaid
not a
character. I
little
kind
bit.
of
That
had a
entire
feeling the
fucking
entire
movie,
time, but at
bro.
the same time, um, Dives nailed it. I want to piggyback on that. David Arquette probably gave the best performance of his career.
Yeah.
He kind of reminded me a little bit of like Sheriff Hopper in Stranger Things. He had this just burnt out, traumatized cop, like waking up in the morning, just regretting the day, like scruffy beard. He just looked like he was done with everything. He just lost. It seems like he just recently lost Gail. I thought he gave the best performance he's ever given, and it was sad to see him go. But I like that this film was brave enough to take that chance. I think to have the three of them survive 5 movies, honestly, it probably is a little bit unrealistic. And I think,
Yeah,
honestly, I thought Gail was gonna die in 4. But that
dude.
being said, I'll admit the young cast is not as strong as the previous film. I've been watching it before we started the stream, but at the same time, I liked all the kids for what they were. I thought they were likable. I will admit, Sam's not the strongest protagonist. I do have some issues with her, but at the same time, I also didn't like not like her. She had moments that were okay for me. I thought that her and Jenna Ortega played well off each other when the moments mattered, in my opinion. And I really liked the third act. I liked where the third act went. I liked how off the fucking wall it was, and I loved how this film took a lot of chances in a way that I think it easily could have blown up in his face. But in my opinion, I thought it worked well. We can dig a little bit more into that later. But honestly, I liked a lot of what was happening here. And then maybe I can throw some of those counterpoints later when we start breaking this film apart.
Going back to what
Yeah.
Loretto said about everyone surviving, like Scream movies and being able to like shake off stabs to the stomach and gunshots to the stomach is just a battle for the ages, man. I'm just, there was a part in this movie where I'm like, wait, Gail just got shot in the stomach and she's literally walking around. Same for like
Not Quaid, bro. He got shot in the fucking kneecap, bro. He gets shot in the kneecap, and he only limps until he needs to be revealed.
And they go like, oh, their vitals are fine. Here's a blanket.
Yeah, like, yo,
just rub it. You'll be fine. It's just like it's just like a knife this big in your stomach or something.
I want to ask you guys a question, because I feel like regardless of how like you feel towards the movie, whether you like it or really dislike it, I feel like a lot of people have been mentioning how good the opening scene is with Jenna Ortega, but I'm in the exact opposite boat. I hated the opening sequence. I think what they were trying to do with the whole meta commentary within this movie was just so on the nose. I thought I fucking was on top of Mount Everest. That's how big of how fucking on the nose it was, that you literally recreate almost the opening scene of the first movie. But oh, guys, there's the twist. We don't kill her. Oh my god, ha ha ha. Which is all fine and dandy when listen to me before you start making faces, right? Because the beginning, right? That's how you set up the killer. That's how you set up the stakes. In the first movie, it was killing the girl who was supposed to be the main girl. The second movie, it was just some random couple until you found out they were students with Sydney. The third movie, it was Cotton Weary and his girlfriend. The fourth movie was the whole meta context on the openings of every movie. So each movie had its own unique opening, and this movie just took the original opening, made her survive, which I also don't believe. They also say she gets stabbed 7 times. I'm like, bro, that little person surviving 7 stabs, come on. That's a bit of a nitpick because it's a line. But what I'm trying to get at here is when you don't kill the first person and you do it in the most unoriginal way by recreating the first movie, it makes me not scared of Ghostface. It doesn't make me feel threatened. And I didn't feel the threat of Ghostface, especially when the first person he kills is literally one of the most pointless characters in the series history. Like that biker stalker dude to Chad's girlfriend
Yeah.
was literally there to be the first kill. And the first kill is supposed to be this over climactic, like, oh my God, this guy means business. And they were going to kill Dewey, and Dewey be the first fucking kill of the movie. Like, I think that'd be to introduce us to this new legacy of the Scream franchise instead of rehashing the old and just making her survive to have the most uninteresting chemistry with an actress who I just thought was a brick wall. And so because of the opening, I just never felt like Ghostface was a threat. Like Ghostface can never take someone on one-on-one. He slit the first dude through just I don't know where the fuck he popped out of, honestly, without the other guy showing, but not questioning that. My point is, I feel like the Ghostface in this movie, the Richie Jacquade and Amber, I don't know the actress's name, is just really weak. Especially, I know I'm going on for a while on this one, but I hate when they make. I I don't know a better way to say this, but I don't like when they make a female a killer, because when they do that, they obviously put in a male extra to make sure people don't know it's a female. And I had the same problem in the fourth movie because, I'm sure you can even petition on this. When they reveal Emma Roberts is the second killer, like, bro, the suit just hangs off of her. She just looks like she does not fit in it. I'm like, bro, you want me to believe that she is the size of that dude? Like, it's a transparency issue I have with it. And it's just like, I guess it's nice to have it because it keeps you guessing, but it's also like they're not giving you any help. That's just me though. I'm sorry for going on. I'll let someone else go here. If anyone has like anything to counterpoint with my saying on the opening.
No, I'll say Tara surviving was probably the most genuine twist in this movie. I thought that was a really interesting component. And I like Tara. Like I said on my positives, I actually think Tara carried this film for the younger cast for me. But going to like the Ghostface as clumsy, man, that is kind of what Ghostface is all about. And in the fourth movie, Ghostface is like the Terminator. Like he's killing, she is killing everybody. But in this movie, they go back literally, as they say, like 50,000 times in this film, kind of to that clumsy Ghostface, which, I mean, clumsy Ghostface is truly probably like one of the most defining, iconic features in this franchise. I think Ghostface literally gets punched in the face, from the first fight in this film. So that doesn't bother me at all. The opening act was not that great. I fully agree with what a lot you said. But I like Tara surviving. I thought that was fun. That actually got the boat going a little bit for me. That maybe there could be, this is a new kind of soft reboot where we'll see something new and different, and that just never happened. What about you, Lo?
I mean, I might be wrong on this, guys, but I actually thought that it was intentional to let Tara live. Am I mistaken?
Oh no, it's obviously intentional.
No, I mean,
yeah.
let's say that was Amber, right, in the suit. I almost feel like she was stabbing her in areas that she figured wouldn't be fatal or something like that, and she broke her ankle.
But they don't kill the twins when they literally had Chad outside on the ground with no one around. What would be their reasoning for leaving Chad alive and then leaving the sister alive?
To piggyback off what Loretto said, I actually felt a little like, Mama Bear protectiveness of Amber with Tara, actually. So you might be onto something there, Loretto. They just didn't it just didn't come through.
I mean, they didn't do anything with any of the younger characters other than the Randy Meeks characters. Bro, Dylan Minnette's the first fucking kid to die. The biker dude dies in 5 seconds. Amber really only has any screen time when she's fucking revealed. I honestly, God, forgot she was a character in the movie until she pulled that mask off. Not pulled the mask off, but pulled the gun out. And they're all saying, I'm like, wait, it's got to be her. But
also, hey, Ryan, just to speak to that, though, that's actually very in line with the franchise because, to be honest, in Scream 2, Mickey is barely in the movie. No, and when he does reveal himself, you're like, where the hell has he been this whole movie?
And but
Same thing with the other character in Scream 4. But go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I think that's the problem with all the sequels, like not even just this one, is I feel like that neither sequel has been able to recreate like the killer reveal of Billy Loomis. Because in that first movie, Wes Craven's so good at giving him so many different ways out that it just doesn't seem possible it could be him. And I feel like no one's been able to like
Yeah.
recreate that type of like, oh my god, this person has so many ins and outs that it couldn't possibly be them. But like I said, that's just been like a whole franchise type of problem. But I feel like with the like killers in this movie, it's just it's so obvious. Like once Amber says, "Yeah, come to my house," and they say, "Oh, that's Stu's house," like Amber's the killer, and Jack Quaid. 98% of his lines are, or no, 50% of his lines are either a joke or the other 50 is about trying to leave town for someone who literally was like, no, baby, I'll come and follow you anywhere. Like, bro, I'm sitting here like, could you be less conspicuous? Like, come on. And the scene with them in the, why can't I think of it, hospital, and he just knocked him out, the killer. And I'm like, bro, it's him. Like, there's no reason for him not to kill him. Elliot, I don't know, but I'll let someone piggyback off me because I feel like
Can
I'm
I
really
kick
getting
a
to my
question to you
frustrations.
guys?
No, you definitely can't.
No, well, I just want to say, like, my favorite kill, because you're talking about him not being the Ghostface not being menacing in this film. I really liked the killing of Sheriff Hicks and her son.
Yeah, that was
I
good.
thought
I,
those
I
two
liked
kills were
it.
excellent and really well played and original.
Oh no, I agree.
I
I
really,
thought the kills were great in this movie.
I don't think I wouldn't call them great, but I will say just to say what Loretta's question. I thought that was like literally probably the only tension-filled scene in this movie. When like I love that. Like that was James Wan-esque, where you know he's opening all these different doors, and you keep waiting for Ghostface to be on the other side. That was when Wes was killed. I liked that moment. That was fun. That was
I
I was
that
all
was
in.
that was the only genuine shocking kill in my opinion, because like we've never seen Ghostface kill in broad daylight. Like he's been in vans in broad daylight, but like he's stabbing her in the fucking front lawn, and I'm like, oh my god, bro! Like this dude just
By the
doesn't
way,
give a fuck.
no one is outside their homes. No
Dude,
one works in hospitals.
yeah, I
Things
mean,
are happening. There's literally nobody. Like it's like the Langoliers. Like literally everyone has just completely disappeared from this planet.
and I think like my biggest complaint is the movie doesn't listen to itself. The movie literally tells you who the killers are and that you shouldn't believe them. And
That-
just to be meta, they're like, nah, they're not. I'm like, bro, come on. Sorry, just smacked my mic doing that if that sounded loud.
I think the best part of this movie for me was that moment where like David Arquette is sitting with Tara or no, it wasn't Tara, it was Sam and her boyfriend. And they're literally sitting there on the couch. This is David Arquette's first scene. And he's like, the expert dies. He's the first one to die. And the next scene, he dies. That was a really cool kind of like moment in this film. I really enjoyed that. When I look back at that scene, that was really well handled. That he was the expert. It wasn't that other girl that was like Randy and super, super smart. I enjoyed that. I did. That was really well done.
Guys,
And also, Sheriff
sorry,
Hicks
Lab.
was the legacy character that they were referring to. They were like, "Oh, the next victim has to be related to a legacy character," and there it was.
But she wasn't related to a legacy character.
No, well, I mean, Sheriff Hicks was Deputy Hicks in 4, so
Yeah. I don't
they
know.
just considered her
When
more
I hear
irrelevant than the
related,
big 3.
I like literally think relation, like because another thing, bro. Okay, I don't know if I want to say this on stream, but like it pains me because I hope none of them ever see this. I hate for you guys. I hate to say that, but this would be embarrassing. It feels like a paycheck roll for the 3 legacy characters, and I don't want to say embarrassingly so, but it's so obvious. Like Dewey, I knew was gonna die. Simply, the hospital was explained to the street not so much. They mentioned that they were putting her on a private, secure floor.
I missed that.
I I I don't know like how, but like Richie,
Like that
he's
would have been
not
cool to
gonna.
have that like male cop kind of be in on it as well. That's what I kept waiting for in this movie. I kept waiting for that third killer to show up.
Dude,
And that would have been
they were
so
definitely
fun.
teasing or like alluding to Samantha being a third killer. Like, bro, I'm like, if they don't do this, like, I'm kind of tired of having literally every movie ends the same. They all go back to a house. Every character that's still left just gets slaughtered until you get to the legacy characters.
Yeah.
Sydney always gets stabbed. Gail gets shot in the stomach.
Oh, you're okay. Just take it off.
Dude, like, I can go down the list of what every movie does in the third act. They literally mention in every film how the person comes back. Like, you think after 4 fucking movies since the first one, you guys would stop saying it and just go up to them, pop a fucking cap in their head? Like, how many more times are you gonna be like, oh, who knows? They might come back. They always come back. They turn around, next thing you know, they come back. Like, bro, this shit has been going on for 5 different movies over 25 years. Go up, put a fucking clip in their head now, dude. Fire can't kill them. Bullets can't kill them. Dude, I'm pretty sure the end of the fucking world couldn't kill them. Only they must be a fucking zombie, bro. Put a bullet in their head. And like, it feels pretentious. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no. I mean, just leaving this movie made me appreciate, the Jordan Peele's, the James Wan's, and everything they mean for this horror genre. Like this was not it. Again, there were some positives, but overall, I just didn't have that like emotional connection with this film whatsoever. Like you said, Amber, I could care less that she was the killer. And then you have like, I feel like the sequels of this movie, you have kind of Billy as at Thanos, and the Billy flashbacks did not work for me whatsoever. But like the sequels have been trying to replicate what Billy and Stu, year after year, film after film, and they have failed to do that across the board. They're just so good. They were amazing. Matthew Lillard and Billy, like I love those two on screen.
I mean, Richie literally becomes Stu too. Sorry to interrupt. Richie literally becomes Stu. Like, how much more on the fucking nose can you guys be? And then Amber literally runs at them the way Stu runs at them when he comes back. Like, come on, guys. Sorry, finish Deebs. I'm getting too far ahead of myself.
No, I agree. It was very on the nose. The movie was trying to be way too smart than it really was. And for me, it just did not work. There were some times when I was rolling my eyes in this movie. And I was just waiting to get that final reveal. And the final reveal just took way too long. It was way too long. It didn't hit. So I think, like you said, Ryan, like, was this a cash grab for Nev Campbell and all those guys? It probably was. Some of the best parts of this movie was Sydney and Gail like calling out Amber on the porch. I love that so much. But give us a full movie of that rather than trying to like, give us this young and upcoming Scream franchise, which, to be honest, if you're trying to set up Sam as that final girl, just like Sidney Prescott, they failed miserably.
Yeah, they
absolutely miserably.
Yeah, like, I don't want to see Sam again. I don't want to see Jenna Ortega again.
I'm good with the Jenna Ortega.
But if you see Jenna Ortega, you're gonna see her sister unless she doesn't sign on.
Oh, they're coming back. They're definitely gonna come back.
Man, that's gonna be a rough movie for me then.
All right, hold on. Can I jump in here real quick?
Jump in. All
right, guys. Look, I'll admit I am having a hard time like properly getting my sword and shield out to fight you guys, just because you guys do bring up some good points. I will say that I wish Sam's psychotic tendencies were more fleshed out versus just seeing Billy. I mean, I thought that was an interesting thing, but they didn't do enough to show the menace from her. They could have done flashbacks of maybe something she did. Maybe she went to juvie for actually stabbing someone. I think that would have been interesting. But with that being said,
so
though,
uninteresting
guys,
background.
Rye, you were actually asking about her name. Look, I liked Mikey Madison as Amber, and if you guys don't know this, she was that crazy ass broad from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Was she
And in
really?
essence, I was tickled because she was kind of almost playing the same girl, but um,
Oof.
I enjoyed it. I loved the banter in the basement.
I gotta clean my eyes. Sorry, 9 out of 10. Oh my god.
I loved when she shot Chad's girlfriend in the face and was like, "Welcome to Act 3." Like I got
Also a nothing character.
I
Part of the
got a
new
kick out of
cast.
that. Whether or not it made enough sense, I agree. And also, I agree that I thought there was a third killer. I think that would have been made a lot of more contextual sense to maybe have a cop be one of the villains, or like another,
But
like you said,
no, that's the
Dimes, like a
problem.
more
They
hulking
chose to
figure
be
to
meta
actually
over
do
making different
the grunt work.
choices.
I agree. Those are really cool ideas, guys. But for what it was, mirroring the first film with the closing shot outside of Stu's house, the intro shot echoing Casey, and to be honest, I'll admit I would have liked to see more done with Sydney. But at the same time, I do kind of get that the filmmakers were trying to show that it wasn't her story, the same way that in The Force Awakens, it wasn't Han and Luke's story, it was about Rey. And maybe they could have fleshed out Sam a little bit better, but for me, I really like Tara. I like you said, Dives. I thought that for me, she carried the film for me, and I liked her character. So
yeah, and I have a question for our commenters, because you've got Larry, Tyler, and Leo in the chat, and they're amazing. Please go subscribe to their YouTube channels: Chili Boy Productions, Tyler Calvert, and Geekly Goods. My question is, like, why was Billy in this movie to begin with? Like, that was a major head scratcher.
I can give you 6 people I asked that same question for.
Like my thing is, Billy is like the Thanos of this franchise. He's like the big bad. Like, he is amazing. What he did for Scream was awesome. Why are you trying to do a redemption arc with this character, right? Like, that was the purpose. It was a redemption thing. Is that where this is going?
Like, bro, they could have made Stu the dad.
That's not what I got from it, Dives.
All right.
I mean, sure, maybe he looked at her in the mirror and was like, "Oh, hey, look, there's a knife there. Save everyone." But I don't even feel like that's what that was. I think it was more her psychotic tendencies, like, "Yo, this is what you do. Do your thing." That's the way that I got from it. And yeah, man, it's hard, man, especially because I don't want to bring this up too highly, but I also actually, you know what? It's fine. I'll leave it where it's at.
So Tyler, bro. Yeah, I am meta that the franchise about being meta is being meta, because I feel like, at least with the other 4 movies, Wes Craven found that perfect balance of when to be meta and when to help evolve the story. When this movie just was meta to be meta. Like, why be meta when you're alluding to a third killer when we've already done 2 killers in the first movie? We did a male and a female killer in the second movie. We did a solo killer in the third movie. We went back to a female male killer, but the female this time is related to, like, it only seems like a natural step, but you want to just go back to the first movie and have a character completely switch 180 from who we thought he was, which, yeah, he kills, but like, turn into someone who isn't Stumacher. Be your own character. But yet again, they want to be meta. This is all about the first movie. And it's just tiring when there's so many good choices, like the beginning. They chose to be meta over having a surprise killing of a legacy character that could have worked much more effectively for having these new killers be threatening. And that's just how I see it. And it's really frustrating when they be meta. They're just making choices to be meta. And I don't think it's an excuse to give a movie that, oh yeah, a movie that's built around being too meta is not an argument. Like, that's being like, oh, a drama movie can't be too dramatic about buildings blowing up with like 20,000 school children in them. Like, that's just how I see it, though. So I went off.
Can I kind of speak to Jack Quaid's character? Because for me, and maybe I'm in the minority here, obviously, because I really liked this movie. I actually thought he was likable, and I thought that was a good contrast to how Billy was in the first film, where Billy was menacing almost the entire film, and then it turned out that he really was the killer when we thought it wasn't. Um, I don't know. I liked the twist with Jack Quaid, and also I feel like you kind of like got it a little bit backwards, right? I feel like Mikey Madison, Amber's character was more Stu, and Jack Quaid kind of like they filled the roles of the original film, and maybe it
Dude,
treaded too closely to the original film. But I mean, that's part of the reason why I
when
liked it
you
so much. I really
rewatch
liked
it,
the way this was written.
it when I forgot who Jack was like threatening. I think it was Sydney or Melissa's character, Sam. But dude, literally there's a recreate like literally face on look of how he swings his knife the way Stu did in that first movie. And like you know how Stu would hold the knife when he was being dramatic, like he'd hold it like in his fingers like this. Like Jack Wade did those he did the same exact type of movements. And I'm just saying, rewatch it again because I know you will at least, slow, and like look at his hand movements and just the way his body's positioned. But I also agree with you. I like the character that they were trying to go for, but like I said, his lines dictated one of two things: either getting the fuck out of Woodsboro, or a joke about being murdered, or being in a horror movie.
Yeah. Let's go to some real comments
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
We've got a lot of people here. Wesley says the only issue he has was with the new cast. I like Tara. He says besides Sam and Tara, everyone else gets put on the back burner 100%. Larry, Chili Boy Productions says, I didn't get a redemption tendency from Billy in the film, but he did need more fleshing out. I like the idea of leading more into Sam's tendencies based on Billy's lineage. 100%. I fully agree with that. It just went nowhere. Just kind of like that bum that got killed at the bar. Geekly Good says, I don't like Billy in it either. It makes me upset. Like, it makes me upset that we had an opportunity to add Matthew Lillard in this movie and we just missed out. Because I love Matthew Lillard.
Dude.
Leo says, this is Scream. It's going to have a lot of meta. 3 is the worst with the balance of the meta. Wesley disagrees with Ryan's point. 4 and 2 are more remakes. 3 is actually the only one that's different and is not as good. And then Larry says, I would have hated killing Dewey in the opening. I hated that scene. And that was really hard to watch. That was like by far one of my favorite scenes of this movie was. But why would Dewey just walk away and then come back and try and shoot him in the head? Why don't you just do it naturally? Just do it there and like take off his mask or her mask and do it right there. There's so many like moments like that. I don't know if they're trying to be too cliche or the tropes or what of horror films. There was like kind of like some head scratching moments when Jack Quaid came in and was like, yo, let's get the hell out of here. That was the part of this movie I was like, okay, like that makes sense. Like let's keep going with that. And then they kind of just went in circles from there. A couple more comments. Hold on, Ryan.
Yeah.
Wesley agrees with Leo. You take the meta out of this and the franchise doesn't work.
But I'm not talking about, I don't get
and
that.
I fully agree with this. Go ahead.
A lot of people are thinking that I'm saying don't be meta. I'm just saying have a better balance. And having 4, 2, and the 5th one like being a remake of the first one speaks for itself. I think the movie, and just like the franchise at this point, is being too meta at its own sake of, oh my God, we're the meta franchise. So we can get away with being as meta as possible to a point where we're just remaking the first movie, literally scene on scene. Wow, a character is watching a movie with about the first, like, bro, come on. Like, that's ridiculous to try and explain. You know what I mean? And if they
can I say one more thing about the writing?
Yeah. No. Go. I'm gonna
like no, just for what hammered it home for me and why I enjoyed it so much was its self-reflection on toxic fandom and toxic fandom actually being the motive behind the whole ordeal. I thought that made so much sense in this day and age with all these crazy people talking smack on the internet and getting all crazy.
In the face, bro. The entire movie is built around legacy. And then to be meta again, they choose to be meta over a proper progression, in my opinion.
I like that. I like the toxic fandom. I think that could have worked.
I like the
sure.
idea
I
of
think
it.
the
I
concept
don't like
was
the
really.
execution.
Did anybody get the Ryan Johnson Stab 8 reference?
Yeah.
Because I as someone who loves The Last Jedi, I would 100% watch a Ryan Johnson Stab 8 show or Stab 8 movie for me. Anybody
Also, I think I'm tired of seeing fucking Stab too.
else?
Like, bro, I swear to God, I feel like I was rewatching the remake within the movie of the first movie that we saw while I was watching the fifth movie. Like,
Larry says it did what the first film did for slasher films, but for the current landscape. I love how they attacked Reddit too. That was really funny. How like Reddit is just so toxic. Last Jedi is so toxic. I got that. Like that worked.
Yeah.
It just didn't translate. I think the script, the writing, the dialogue was way too corny. It just didn't work. And the great parts like Sidney and Gale and David Arquette, they were great in it. But then David Arquette dies, and then Sidney and Gale have an amazing moment there in that final house scene. Gale gets shot in the stomach and gets put on the sideline and gets benched. And then she comes back somehow after being shot in the stomach. Like there were so many things going through my head during this sequence that it all fell flat.
The excuse too is just exactly the same as the first movie. At least every other film has a reason different than the first two killers' motives. The first two killers or not motives, but reasoning. The killers in this movie are like, I'm just going to blame it on the toxic fandoms. The first movie, I'm just going to blame it on the scary movies. But then you look at the second one, you got a mother of a child who got killed. You got a psychopath because he wants to be noticed for murdering people. Then you got a long lost brother. And then you've got a psychopath. Gale is just bulletproof in general. Sydney stab proof. The Ghostface just also.
Who got shot in the leg? Someone got shot in the leg, and
Jack Craven walked it off. He got capped in the fucking knee. Like, bro, I wish I could walk that shit off. I wish I could walk off getting my fucking insides twisted out. Like,
the scene where I hated, I just did not like Jack Quaid's character.
I also.
Hold on. That scene where Jack Quaid's at the end and he's like getting killed. And he goes, but what about my ending? And he's like whining, he's just a whiny villain. Like Billy was menacing and intimidating. Like that guy would 100% scare the shit out of me. Jack, I think it was just the acting. I think the young kids acting across the board, other than Tara, other than Jenna Ortega, I think across the board were really disappointing.
I gotta say. I'm sure you guys might not have noticed this, but I think this might have been a meta joke within the movie that I think is pretty funny. Just thinking about it right now, actually, just talking about meta jokes. But the joke in the first three movies is Dewey's always gets stabbed in the back somewhere, or yada yada yada, gets thrown out of the third act, and he always gets stabbed in the third spot. But then the fourth one, instead of getting stabbed, he gets fucking knocked out, and he's just driving to the scene of the third act, then he's not around. So when they kill him in the fifth one, it is the most gruesome death of all time, bro. Double bladed, both sides, ripping him in half. And I'm like,
that was really cool.
I'm like, bro, they're telling you he's dead. So I don't know. That definitely feels intentional. Might be a little good into it, but I thought that was kind of funny. They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. As he keeps going, it's right. So I'm like, yeah, he's dead. Oh, yep, he's definitely dead. But it was a good kill for a legacy character. They did really well.
Tyler says the whole point of the killers to bring back the Stab Scream franchise to its former glory with a new story. Wesley says, I think it all comes down to you like it. He loves the franchise so much. Maybe go easier on it, but I don't care. And then Tyler goes, I love the Scream franchise. I love it to death.
I love it too.
They're great, but this movie just didn't work for whatever reason. And whatever. Tyler says they're just built different regarding Courtney Cox's amazing abs. They're like abs of steel for sure.
So
yeah.
Loretto, do you have any backup points? Because I feel like you've been sitting there in just pure heartache for my rants.
Well, honestly, I'll save my thoughts for the wrap up, man. I feel your guys' like especially you, Ryan. Don't get me wrong, dude. totally kind of see your frustration with not only the franchise but the way this film played out for you. But I don't know, maybe I'm just looking at it from a different lens. At least when I sat down, like I said, I was smiling the whole time. I was just along for the journey, and for whatever reason, the only things I took issue with was I thought the killer reveal, like you guys were saying, I thought it'd be a little bit more creative, and B, I thought the superhuman aspect of all of our characters was a little bit cartoonish at this point, even though we've
To the
seen it
point of Scream
before.
3.
This you might well, you know what really got me, like what really took me out of it, and it was my least favorite part, was seeing Melissa Barrera get stabbed and Jack Quaid literally turning the knife inside of her. Because to be fair, she probably should have died, and then she stood up
They
and
all
fought him
should have
off
died.
the rest of the act, and I think that was probably the worst moment for me. But I'll save the rest of my thoughts for the grading and the final wrap up, just because I do want to explain to you guys why I liked it so much, but at the same time, I don't necessarily have retorts to your guys' complaints, because now that you mention it, I can kind of see why that happens.
No, yeah,
I want this, like, I truly want this franchise to get set up. I am all in for a brand new Scream franchise moving forward. But if you're going to make me believe that this is the new Sidney Prescott, Sam is the new Sidney Prescott, Jamie Lee Curtis franchise, I like the idea of clumsy Ghostface coming back, and that's super iconic. That's all good. But for me, like, the way they set it up, you know, for future movies, like, I have no interest in watching a Sam-led franchise moving forward. This direction did not work for me. The way it ended, she's not Sidney Prescott. She's not Neve Campbell. I could, like, her just entire role in the final scenes. She had no screen presence whatsoever. I didn't get any of that.
Just stood there, bro. No facial expression. They're like, smile.
Tyler says, I've seen Laurie Strode survive worse. Larry says, but the Screams franchise is based on spotlighting slasher tropes. One of the worst is how they are indestructible. I agreed 100%. A lot of it, I just can't bring myself to like it. And then lastly, Larry says, whether the killer or the final girls, you can't kill them. So that was kind of like ridiculous for sure. So I didn't.
So I think I'll just start with getting into the wrap up, guys. We're gonna wrap up. We're gonna give it our grades, and I think I have it, or like where it goes on my list of out of the 5 movies. Do you guys feel comfortable, you two, ranking this at least? Because I'm pretty confident where I think it stands on my ranking.
Yeah, I mean, I full disclosure, I haven't seen Scream 2, 3 in a long time. I've seen Scream.
I thought you watched Scream 2 the other night.
I started it and then I got tired.
Yeah. No, yeah. So we'll do that. I'll just start it off. I think when it comes down to it, the ultimate factor is it wasn't made by Wes Craven. And when I heard about the new people coming in, I was excited because it's from the directors of Ready or Not, and I think one of the writers of Ready or Not. And I thought it was a really good horror movie and something really unique and out there. And it brought my excitement up to a new level because I feel like maybe these guys can really bring in something new while trying to mesh it in with what Wes had brought in with the previous 4 movies. And ultimately coming out, it just really feels like they try to be a more meta version of Wes and just recreated what a genius had created before. And I think it more bothers me because that it feels like it's not getting as much slack because, it is a meta franchise. But like I said, I think that's the thing Wes brought that is missing, is that nice balance between being meta and what is meta for the time, and having the story move forward with character arcs and character deaths in a natural way that you just don't get in this movie. And like I said, it felt meta over character development, over story development. If there's a meta joke to be made, we're writing it. And I'm just disappointed because there's so much talent and potential to really bring something new to the franchise, but it also just feels like that they played it as safe as they possibly could. And to be meta and have a lot of meta jokes. I'm not saying it's easy to write, but if you look at the current politics of the movies, like there's a lot of material there that could be made pretty easily. And you just mesh that in with the original movie, you flip a few things and you call it your own project. Like, bro, they literally tell you in the title, it makes so much sense why they didn't call it Scream 5. It's because it's not its own thing. It's Scream 1 with just meta references. And between the cashed in performances of the legacy characters, I felt like Courtney Cox really just phoned it in with this performance. I didn't buy when Dewey died. Like, she did not look like she gave a fuck. Unfortunately, she didn't have to be in this movie. Sydney has a whole family, a whole life. You don't know nothing about that. They don't tell you about anything. She comes in to be whatever to the plot. She's literally there for no reason. She's there to help Gal mow down the killer when they come back at the end, which they do in every other movie. Like, come on, guys. Could you make it a little less obvious? Like I said, though, I think Dewey's the only one that could fit naturally into this story, and he was the only one that I felt like came back properly and really just gave it his all. And he's the only one who got morning show appearances. So come on, guys, how much more obvious can you make it that he was the legacy character to die and not the other two? But yeah, just massively underwhelmed and disappointment with this project. I think I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 right now. They're super underwhelmed. I want to rewatch it, but I don't know. I don't know really how I'm going to feel just about hearing jokes over again. And that's sort of like why I didn't like the Lego movie. It was just joke after joke after joke for me. And it gets boring here, joke after joke. If I want to listen to a joke, I'll just watch an hour comedy special one after another. But that's ultimately how I feel. And for ranking wise, it's at the bottom, bitches. I'm sorry. It's 5 out of 5. I think my ranking goes Scream 1, Scream 4, Scream 3, Scream 2, and Scream 1. I mean, Scream 5 or Scream, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it. But yeah, those are like my closing thoughts. What about you, Deebs? Tell us how you felt. What is your grade and where might it rank in your ranking list?
Tyler's throwing some tomatoes at you right now.
No, that's fine. I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
No, like I said, I think this film was a stark reminder of how, far we've come with quality horror films by the great Jordan Peele, by the great James Wan. Like the movie and the plot was just average at best for me. The acting was all over the place. I felt very little to zero tension, especially during the final reveal. I liked the scene with Dewey. I hate that he died, but that whole sequence was very good. There's individual parts that I really enjoyed, but as a whole, this movie just did not work. The dialogue should have been snappier. The writing as a whole was completely subpar. And like you look at like the main character, Sam, like you're trying to set up this brand new franchise, this brand new Sidney Prescott. They just fell flat, man. She's just boring. She's just dull. She is forgettable. Like the whole thing with Billy was just a cash grab. Like it was just nostalgia. I did not get it. And I still prefer the Babadook. I'm sorry. I still do. So for me,
prefer the Babadook, bro.
By the way, I love that movie. I love that reference. The Babadook is super underrated. It's a great flick. I like the idea of like elevated horror. Like there's concepts. I like the idea of toxic fandom. There's concepts in this movie. It just didn't click on all.
If that was like the overall meta joke of the movie, it would have been great. But I think that was the problem. I feel like the whole. Well, everyone hates me in the comments, guys. I just want to say I'm sorry for being the disappointment of the stream today. I just want to say that. But before we get to low, I want to touch on Wesley's comment about Scream 4.
I didn't get the greater rank.
Oh shit, that's right, bro. I'm so bro. You see, like I'm so in this mindset about this movie. I'm so sorry. Continue.
All right, so I give it a 5.5 out of 10. The more I thought about it, I thought it was a 5 out of 10.
We had a point about Deebs. I hate to cut you off. I can't do it this time.
And then the way I will rank them, I'll go Scream 1, Supremacy, always. I actually like that you said Scream 4. I really enjoyed Scream 4 a lot for whatever reason. And then I'm going to go Scream 2, and then I'm going to go a tie between Scream 3. Like, I haven't seen Scream 3 in a long time, I'll be honest. But I remember that film being just really forgettable. So I'm going to put a tie there in that tier between Scream 3 and Scream 5.
No, yeah. Damn, bro. This movie is fucking something else that I was not expecting. But Loretto, what about you, man? What are your final wrap up thoughts? Bring up the positivity in the room. What would you grade this movie? And if you feel comfortable giving it a ranking, why don't you give us your ranking?
Yeah, man. So look, I'm just gonna speak from my heart and what I felt sitting in the theater. Like from the get go, I thought the intro was strong. It was one of the strongest openings since, and this is weird to say because 3 is my least favorite, but I thought that having Cotton Weary be that opening kill was such a brutal way to start the film. This is actually probably one of my favorite intros since then, and I'll not to take anything away from 4 because 4 was hilarious, with Kristen Bell and Anna Paquin, and that was awesome. But with that being said, I thought the intro was really strong. I love the way it was written. I love that Jenna Ortega was one of us. Like she felt like one of us fans, and I thought that she was the best character in the whole movie. It was refreshing to see her and Melissa Barrera be people of color as the main protagonists of a film that was predominantly white. Not to take it there, I didn't mean to take it there,
No,
but I
no,
mean,
yeah.
I thought I found it really refreshing to be that, even though Melissa Barrera probably, I kind of agree with you guys, she wasn't the strongest final girl I've seen, but I didn't hate her, to say that. And I loved so many things about this that in a way, like for one of the reasons why I like it so much is like for me, like the writing didn't take me out of it in a way that I understood the writing more as a love letter to the original versus beating a dead horse or versus rehashing the original. It just felt like a genuine love letter. I felt like
But
David
sorry, Lo,
Arquette gave
if
one
you're
of the
gonna
best
make a love letter, why
performances,
not just
what
remake it?
arguably the best performance of his career. I really like the nods to Randy's behind you scene. Um, I thought
Yeah,
Mikey
that was
Madison as
great.
Amber was great. She kind of gave me that Stu energy. Jack Quaid was awesome in a different way. He wasn't as menacing as Billy, but I liked his character for what it was. Um, I'll admit that Gail and Sydney didn't have a lot to do in this. I think that was where the writing fell short a little bit. But despite all that, I had fun with the ride. I love the toxic fandom being the sole driving force behind the killers. I like the mystery to start. How I'm not gonna lie, I got really giddy when what's her name, Sam and her boyfriend turn around and we hear that darn 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 and Dewey walks up like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna help you with the investigation. And I love that. Like in a way, Dewey brings to life both him and Randy because it calls back to 2 and 1 when Randy was helping him figure out the mystery. And from beginning to end, I just felt like it captured the spirit of the original in a good way, not a negative way. That's the way that I took it. I thought the third act was fucking off the wall, but in a manner that I enjoyed. And lastly, the last thing I'll say is my only issue with this film is I wish it was scarier.
Yeah.
That's where 4 actually has its beat. I was rewatching 4 before the stream, and 4 has some really good moments. And like you said, Dives, 4 Ghostface was brutal. He was a
Yeah.
freaking savage. And so I'll say that I liked I liked Ghostface stalking Tara in the wheelchair and being on the phone at the same time. I thought that was excellent. I loved Dewey's death scene. It was so horrifying. I loved the way that Sheriff Hicks was racing to save her son, and Ghostface was like, "Have you ever seen Psycho?" And like the son's in the shower, like that kind of stuff spoke to me. And to me, those highs, like those things that I had fun with, far outweigh the things that I noticed that you guys mentioned, like, maybe there should have been a third killer, maybe it wasn't as believable for Amber to be the killer, but the fun I was having overshadowed those kind of things that you guys, I'm not saying you guys are nitpicking, but those are the kind of things that you guys get hung up on where I just had fun, flat and simple, plain simple. My heart broke when Dewey died. I felt bad for Sheriff Hicks, and I love this franchise so much that this film reminded me of why I like this film and all of the films, even 3, which is my least favorite. So with that being said, I'll go number 1, the original, of course. And I will say this, look, guys, I was hyperbolic last night because I was so giddy and I was watching the Q&A with Kevin Williamson. But I'm gonna switch my number 2 to 4 because I was rewatching 4 earlier, and 4 is so goddamn good.
Good.
And
Yeah.
it's so refreshing with how I feel like 4 was a better version of what they were trying to do here, but that's not to say that it was bad. I actually have 5 at 3. I like I said, I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it. The 4 West part just kind of hit me right in the feels. And even though Sydney and Gail didn't have a lot to do, I thought they did okay with what they were given. Especially Gail. I don't know if you guys know this. Courtney Cox and David Arquette were married at one point.
Yeah.
So that little sequence they had, even though it was really brief, it felt so real, like their little back and forth about, why they fell apart and stuff like that. I thought that was a really weird, like, is that even meta? That's like almost like art reflecting like life and life reflecting art, whatever, life imitating art. So yeah, so I'll go 1 Scream, 2 4, 3 5, 2 right behind it, and then of course 3 is just my least favorite. I just and it's not that I don't like 3. I just felt like that one felt a little bit redundant for me, minus like the script writing parts that I liked in that film. So shouts out to all the Scream heads out there. I feel like I'm the only one that had your guys' back. For everybody that enjoyed it, for everyone that didn't enjoy it, I totally see why. But for me, I was having a good time.
Larry says Sydney is the GOAT. She's untouchable. We have Larry agreeing with you. Just a beautiful love letter to the original, but made for the 2022 culture. I agree with that. Tyler says Lowe is the real MVP. Wesley says if you like The Force Awakens or Jurassic World, you'll probably like Scream. If not, probably not. I can't stand when someone likes one requel movie and not another, but it's still just an opinion.
Oh no, wait, can I touch on that real quick?
Yeah.
So
well said, Wesley.
I think there's a massive difference when you look at those two and then this one. I get it that Jurassic World and Force Awakens, they have like the similar plot points going throughout the story, but this movie was like all about the first. Like it's really hard to properly describe it. I mean, they're showing the movie centers around the first movie, first of all. Wow. Second of all, in the background, the first movie was being shown that they made in the movies universe. So we're already watching it 2 different ways. And then we get to almost an identical third act, and pretty much identical to the point of, like I said, I feel like we just have the same character traits. That's 3 different layers of the same film being shown to us at the same time. When I feel like Jurassic World and Force Awakens just have similar plot, or just have like, I'll just say same plot points for the sake of the argument. If that makes sense.
And to be fair, you look at 2021, Ghostbusters, wanted so desperately to hark back to the original.
Another one.
You look at The Matrix Revolutions.
Oh my God, bro.
I mean, you talk about a film that wants so bad to go back in time,
first movie.
Put in that flux capacitor and replicate the first film's success. No question about it. And just be meta. And just like, that's kind of the trend now, I guess, in Hollywood. Larry says, Lowe is the GOAT. We can't lie. After Eternals and now this, legend. Manda loves Scream 4. I fully agree. I'm happy that I didn't know we're all that high on Scream 4. That's like a takeaway here. Wesley, like Scream, Scream 5, then 3, Scream 4, Scream 2, then Scream 3. I need to rewatch Scream 3. I haven't seen that in a long time. Manda does not like how Loretto puts 2 so low. Come on, Loretto. That's embarrassing. Wesley says Scream 4 was the exact same thing as 1, but you liked it.
I totally disagree with that. I mean, like I said, every movie ends the same. They all gather at a house. That's every movie. Whatever characters are still alive. The ones that aren't the legacy characters, or like in Melissa Barretta's case, the main character, they get slaughtered. But within 4, they do something so different, I think. Like her niece literally is doing it to become famous and to become Sidney Prescott. That's so different than just blaming it on the movies because your mom fucked my dad. And whatever. The oh my god, fucking what's his name's brother, the second killer or the first one that was revealed in the movie. He's a nothing character. He really wasn't very much. He dies after 5 minutes of being revealed. But like I feel like that's a pretty massive difference in and of itself. When at least in Scream 5 they use an almost exact same reasoning, just change up the logistics.
Yeah. Tyler says, "No, you do not need to rewatch Scream 3."
Yes, you do, bro.
Yeah, I do want to rewatch it.
Scream 3 is fucking great.
I want to speak to what Tyler just said because I think that's the trickiest thing in this whole franchise. And what I will say is there's a reason why the original is the best, and it's just that every other film afterwards, it is kind of messy when you try to tie everything together. Like, to be fair,
that's a problem. You don't have to tie everything together.
Yeah.
No, what that's a problem with the movie. They feel the need to have all three legacy characters in the movie at once. Like I said, this movie would have been fine without Gale and Sydney. Dewey fit into the story. He perfectly made sense. Sydney and Gale just come in. And if you say they came because Dewey died, bro, they didn't even have a fucking funeral. So why'd they come?
But why are we passing the torch from Sydney to the new villain when it should have been Sydney to the new Sam, right? The new Sydney. Like, I don't understand that idea. Like,
They should have brought Kirby back.
I really wanted to like Sam's character. I really did. Like, if they would have really fully fleshed out the whole Billy thing and like the medicine thing and, you know, really deep dive, like maybe then in Scream 6, they establish her as like she is a complete psychopath after killing, you know, Jack Quaid. That could have been interesting. But I don't know. I don't think they're going down that route.
Deebs, they decided to do meta instead of the interesting choices, and that's where I find myself very conflicted, because it's really hard to criticize a franchise that's known for meta for being too meta. But I feel like that's the case it's in, to the point where instead of like different plot points and trying to bring in your own unique taste, you just revert to, let's be meta because that's what it's built on. But I feel like we're going on a little bit now. Do you guys have any last things to say about this movie before I wrap things up too? Sorry.
No, it's overall just a disappointing film, especially how much I heard like it was actually really strong. It didn't work for me, unfortunately. There's just way too bad acting. The script, the writing was awful. I hate to see, I wish I had more alcohol here, but I would say cheers, Dewey. You will be missed. I love that whole scene there with Dewey, and I thought he acted his ass off. I love the comment where he's like an old Sam Elliott. That was really, really funny. That was probably my favorite line of the film.
I laughed so hard, dude.
That was great because he looked I didn't think of it, but as soon as it was said, I was like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious."
The de-aging was just so bad, and then it's so slapped with that.
Long story short, again, this is probably a movie I won't watch, and that's really, really hard for me to say. It really is, as much as I love this franchise.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, before I wrap things up, that I honestly feel like the only time I'll see this again is either for a second viewing, just to like really cement my thoughts. Maybe a few things change because it's a second viewing. You look for different things. But after that, I probably might not watch it if I have the same feelings again until probably a Scream 6 rewatch party. You know what I mean? But that's the unfortunate truth for me. But thank you guys so much for coming out and showing some love and support and talking about the new Scream 1, Scream 5. I couldn't fucking tell you guys. Who really knows at the end of the day? Appreciate you guys for coming out. And guys, before we get going, we've got the Oscars Best Picture nominations and winners draft tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This one's going to be a competition to say. We've got 2 more spots for the championship draft that should be happening around March, April time, guys. So go to our Twitter at the Suit Up Geeks to find out who's contesting in this one, who's contesting in the next one. And guys, don't forget to vote on who you think should be the winner and who should go and get our 8th or 9th spot into our championship draft. But other than that, we've also got a Peacemaker review coming out within the next day or two. So check out our Twitter for that as well. And yeah, Deebs, do you have like any trivia stuff to plug too that I might not know about?
Trivia stuff? No, I do not have a category, but we'll be going back to trivia next week. As assuming the Eagles lose to the Tampa Bay Bucks, I've done a show every single night this week on the Eagles.
I wanted to stop.
So if the Eagles lose to Tampa, all odds say they probably will. I don't want to say that again. But we will have a trivia on Friday night.
Yo ho, a Buccaneer victory. Fuck the Birds.
Yeah, so trivia is always Friday nights at 8 p.m. East Coast time. It's a lot of fun. We've got Matt Wyatt going back-to-back W's. He is the Marvel King. He won Spider-Man, and he won my MCU trivia throwdown. So we're not going to go superhero. I have an idea that we're going to go moving forward, but I will definitely be revealing that on the channel.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you guys are watching this after the live stream have ended and watch the rewatch or replay, guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and tell us what your rankings and thoughts on the Scream movie is down below in the comments. And as per usual, boys, it's been nice talking about cinema in the fucking making. And you know what? We'll see you on the next, guys. Peace.
Fuck you, Daniel.
Ah!
All right.